A New Jersey-born actress, Aarthi Agarwal. She's a star in Indian cinema known as Bollywood. She passed away over the weekend. She was only 31 years old. Her health declined suddenly just weeks after she had liposuction surgery. On Friday, she began to have respiratory issues and passed away on her way to the Atlantic Care Hospital in Atlantic City. Multiple reports state that Aarthi passed from complications due to liposuction, but the autopsy report is yet to be released. According to her manager, she had been battling obesity and pulmonary issues, and it's reported that she had chronic asthma and was struggling with depression from her failed marriage and also her declining film career. Calls to the hospital and her family were not immediately returned. She was laid to rest this morning in a traditional Gujarat ceremony. We've covered many of these stories of tragedy striking people who just want to look a little bit better. And as recently as last week, we brought you the story of Kelly Mayhew, who underwent illegal Botox injections in a basement in Queens. She passed away from that. The administrator of the injections is still at large, and we're not even sure if that person had a medical license as of yet. To speak on this increasingly disturbing trend of the deadly price of beauty, we have in studio via Skype Dr. Jeffrey Gardier. Why do you think that we are seeing so many cases of people being injured or dying from procedures that are meant to enhance their beauty?
What we're seeing from this latest death is something that we all need to be mindful of, that when you are going into any kind of surgery, that you have to be emotionally stable, you have to be physically stable, and it seems that this individual, God rest her soul, had some other complications going on, had some other pre-morbid issues which were part of her medical history, and therefore perhaps was not a candidate for liposuction, especially with these other things going on.
But it really does show you that whether it's on the black market and someone in a basement, or it's in a doctor's office or in some outpatient hospital procedure, bad things can happen. So I guess the question is, do you think these folks maybe need to talk to a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
It's important to make sure that the person is mentally stable, that they don't have a body dysmorphic behavior where they are addicted to these kinds of surgeries. But more than anything else, we need to know that recovery is something that's not just medical, it's not just physical, it's also psychological. So if your body is compromised, if your immune system psychologically and physically is compromised, then certainly we can see these sorts of complications, and why it's important to have both the medical and the psychological/psychiatric as part of the clinical picture before going forward with one of these surgeries.
The world that we live in today, the pressure to be beautiful and feel beautiful and, be attractive, whether it's permanent adjustments or even just putting on makeup and doing your hair every day. I mean, this idea, like who you are on the inside, that's great, but I mean, the world we live in doesn't necessarily appreciate that, and that's the real problem.
This should not be falling on the deaf ears of the professionals who are involved in this kind of work. So they need to learn from some of these issues.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it.